Hello, everyone. My name is Xinning Gui. I'm an assistant professor at Penn State University. I'm here to present our paper, Teacher-Guardian Collaboration for Emergency Remote Learning in the COVID-19 Crisis. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, many schools around the world were forced to move to emergency remote learning almost overnight. Emergency remote learning is different from everyday remote learning in the sense that everyday remote learning programs are pre-planned and designed to be online. However, emergency remote learning is a temporary quick shift and lacks pre-planned resources and well-developed infrastructure. It entails new requirements for not only learning technologies, but also guardian involvement in young students, such as K-12 students' learning activities. Against this backdrop, our paper focuses on K-12 teachers and guardians' collaborative practices of setting up and managing emergency remote learning. In March and April 2020, we conducted interviews with 16 K-12 teachers and 12 guardians in China. We adopted a thematic analysis to analyze our data in an inductive approach. We identified 3 types of collaborative work in which the teachers and guardians engaged, including techno-procedural, surveillance, and material work. Techno-procedural work refers to the teachers and guardians' collaborative effort to establish and maintain the necessary technological procedures that support remote learning. Our participants mostly used commercial live streaming or video conferencing tools such as TeamTalk, Zoom, or Tencent Meeting to deliver the instructional content. In addition, we commonly used instant messaging tools like WeChat and QQ for emergent needs. Teachers and guardians needed to coordinate those different tools to support online learning tasks. For instance, a preschool and a primary school teacher told us, we only use TeamTalk for instruction, and we use WeChat to communicate with parents. All the parents have added me on their WeChat. We also have a group chat for the class. Parents send the students' assignments through the WeChat. TeamTalk can do that too, but we are used to WeChat. A common procedure is that guardians took photos of their young children's assignments, then submitted the photos of the assignments on behalf of their young children to the WeChat group. Then teachers graded and sent back the assignments to the guardians with comments. However, both guardians and teachers faced challenges. Most of our teacher participants did not receive sufficient training and support from their schools. Instead, they had to rely on themselves, their peers, and their family members to quickly learn and manage the technologies. For example, a middle school teacher said, our school only gave us several videos of instruction on how to use TeamTalk. There was no formal training. We had to learn the system by watching the videos and trying out all the functions. When there's an issue, we ask each other for help. Also, all of our guardian participants had to manage multiple learning applications, which put quite the demand on them. For example, a parent described her experience. There are so many applications for us to use. I wish it could be simpler. Like if everyone chose Zoom, all I would need to know is Zoom, right? Just please don't use this app in this class and that app in that class. Surveillance work is monitoring students to ensure that their behaviors adhere to the standards typically expected in a classroom setting. In the emergency remote learning setting, it's challenging for teachers to monitor their students online. So teachers expected the guardians to take over some of the surveillance work. For example, a guardian told us, parents need to check attendance. Some teachers ask me to take a photo of my kid, like when he's sitting there and attending the online class. I take the photo and send it to the group chat. A teacher participant explained why she asked the parents to continuously monitor their child while online. Some kids can be very easily distracted by their surroundings during the online class. So this is completely out of the control of the teachers. I can do nothing about it if the parents don't monitor it. I have to say something like, ask your parents to come here. Surveillance work came with challenges as well. First, the presence of guardians could undermine the teacher's authority. For example, a teacher complained, "Some parents interrupted my class all the time when they sit nearby and watch their children. I feel my authority as a teacher has been diminished." Guardians also worried that their presence could negatively impact the children. For instance, a mother of a preschool student shared with us, "When he doesn't understand something or cannot answer a question asked by the teacher, he always looks at me. Having me sitting there, he becomes dependent, relying on me to remind him of the answers. I think not having me there may actually be better for my kid." Material work refers to the teachers and the guardians' activities that aimed to produce physical artifacts and an environment that could support the students' remote learning. For instance, a high school teacher shared, "We send the exams to parents ahead of time, usually half an hour ahead. If we start the exam at 9 a.m., we give parents time to print the exams from 8:30 to 9. We ask students to write on the paper. They have to take an offline exam anyway." This teacher's description concerned the practice exam for students who are going to take the National College entrance exam in a few months. The practice exam sought to mirror the format of the National College entrance exam, including but not limited to the physical copies of the exam and the starting time of 9 a.m. Facing a lot of constraints in emergency remote learning, the teachers and the guardians were still willing to put extensive effort into maintaining the formality and integrity of the exams, simulating every possible detail of the offline exams. Material work presented challenges to both teachers and the guardians too. For example, in this special case, the material work intensified and was very time sensitive because teachers will only send the digital copy of an exam shortly before the exam began. Then teachers expected the guardians to print out the exam and to photocopy the exam immediately after it was over. To sum up, the techno-procedural work reflected a lack of protocol for emergency remote learning. The teachers and the guardians used existing technology they were already familiar with, such as WeChat and QQ, and collaboratively set up and learn new tools to form a collaborative workflow and fix issues on the fly. Previous research on learning during the COVID-19 has focused on either the teachers or the guardians' perspective. The collaborative work done by guardians and teachers has remained invisible and less discussed. We should strive to support guardian-teacher interactions and mitigate their burdens in online learning environments. The ways in which these work types were completed were deeply entrenched in the cultural beliefs found in Chinese culture. For instance, in Chinese culture, guardians maintain a nurturing authority and are responsible for children within their lives at home, while teachers maintain their authority as experts with respect to educational matters. In our study, teachers were the ones who guided the guardians and made a request, while the guardians obeyed the request and collaborated with teachers on the requested tasks. The authority in the class that our teacher participants demanded and the imbalance of power between the teachers and the guardians hindered their collaboration at points and led to tensions in some cases. At the end of my presentation, I'd like to thank my co-authors, Yao and Yanlai. Also, many thanks to our reviews for their insightful feedback, and thank you very much for listening. Thank you.